What's going on, everyone? My name is Josh Rzepka, and today I've got some tips to help you maintain your chops on all of your different instruments. Now, if you're like me, you started off on a B-flat trumpet, maybe you started off on a B-flat cornet, and then maybe in high school, a couple years later, you added the flugelhorn or the C trumpet. Maybe in college you added the piccolo trumpet, and now you've got 3, 4, 5 horns at home. And these are all instruments which, well, ideally you should be able to play them every single day and sound great on them. Well, sometimes we go a couple weeks or a couple months or maybe even more without really needing to play one of these instruments. Some of you may only play the piccolo trumpet for weddings or during Easter or Christmas, and then maybe it just kind of sits in its case for months and months until you need to play it again. And when you pick it up, well, maybe you're not sounding so hot on it. And the same with the flugelhorn. Maybe you're not playing flugelhorn all the time, but you own it, and well, when you pick it up, you're having some intonation problems. So this advice is going to help you sound better on all of these every single day, because you're going to be playing them every day. And that's really the name of the game. If you want to sound good on all of your horns, you got to play them every day. And that may sound like a bit of a daunting task. However, if you take your practice session and you structure it in a certain way, you can actually touch base with every single one of these horns without going crazy, without feeling like you have to practice 4 or 5 hours every single day. It's really not that hard. So one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you is to leave your horns out, all of them. Get 3, 4, 5 stands, put all your horns on stands, because if they are out, odds are you're going to pick them up and play them. It's kind of simple, but it actually makes a big difference. I have a custom trumpet stand here that I made that actually holds my B-flat, my C, my flugelhorn, and my piccolo trumpet, and I took them all out, I oiled the valves, I put them out there, and I gotta say, I pick up every single one of those horns every single day, and I play on them now. And here is my strategy. This is how I go about it. So I start off with my B-flat trumpet. That's what I do my warm-up on, and that is what I play through all of my daily exercises. From there, I go to the C trumpet. And when I'm playing some Clark studies and I'm playing some etudes, that is when I pick up the C trumpet. There's nothing better than playing some Charlier or Biche on your C trumpet. It's really gonna help you out, and it's just as a change of pace. And then from there, well, take out the piccolo trumpet. You may notice I'm going from large to small, right? B-flat trumpet, C trumpet, piccolo trumpet. If I had an E-flat trumpet, I would have put it in between the C trumpet and the piccolo trumpet. And take out your pick and play a little bit of rep. Put some excerpts up, get some solos out. Just play a little bit. You don't have to play an hour on the piccolo trumpet. You don't have to play 30 minutes. A good 5 to 10 minutes every day on the pick is gonna do wonders for your piccolo playing. It's gonna allow you to just pick it up and feel comfortable. Your intonation is not gonna be like all over the place because you're gonna be used to it. And make sure as you're playing the pick every day, do some Clark studies. Make sure you're really practicing and working on that 4th valve. The piccolo trumpet has so many tuning issues that you really wanna make sure you have all the alternate fingerings figured out and that you're comfortable with using that 4th valve, getting into the different registers. So very important that you spend a little bit of time on the pick every single day. One exercise that I love doing, I do this almost every single day, I'm working on my scales. I do 2 octave slurred and articulated scales, and I make my way up and I go higher and higher and higher. And once I get to a high C on the B-flat trumpet, then I switch over to the C trumpet and I go down a couple half steps, and then I make my way up to a high C on the C trumpet, and then I switch over to the piccolo trumpet and I go down a couple half steps, and depending on if you're in B-flat or in your A, you're gonna start on different notes, but I make my way up. So I'm going up chromatically, a little higher, 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 higher. You're getting some range exercise in, you are working on your scales. Switch it up, do major scales, do minor scales, do different modes, slur 2, tongue 2, etc., single tongue, double tongue. That's just a great exercise where you can incorporate all your different horns and you can go from one to the next to the next, and it's really gonna keep your chops feeling very comfortable on all of these different horns. Now for my practice session, what I just explained, that's basically how I go about it. I start from the bigger horn and I go to the smaller horn. For me, that is just the most comfortable and it works best. And then I'll take a little bit of a break and then I'll pull out the flugelhorn. And sometimes I'll throw it in the mix and I'll go back and forth. I'm working on a multi-track trumpet piece right now. It's a lot of fun, but it uses all 4 of these trumpets. It really got me thinking about what is the strategy in order to stay fresh on all of these horns, because I gotta admit, when I first started working on this piece, well, I hadn't played my pick or my C trumpet in a little bit of time. We've been on lockdown. There haven't really been that many prospects for gigs for the C trumpet or for the piccolo trumpet, so they kind of were just sitting around. I wasn't playing on them, and I wanted to multi-track this piece. So I started picking these horns up every day, and I realized I had spent a little too much time away from them. My tuning was a little off, my articulation was a little off, and for me, what it really is, in order to stay comfortable on all of these horns, it's really making sure that I have my air dialed in, that I know what it feels like, what my air needs to feel like for each one of these horns. And that's for playing and sustaining notes and for articulating. It is so important that if you're gonna pick up all these horns every day, that you do some articulation studies on them. It is so great to just, pick up the B flat trumpet, do some Clark, slur it, tongue it, put it down, pick up the C trumpet, do the same thing. Put it down, pick up the piccolo trumpet, do the same thing. Pick up the flugelhorn, do the same thing. That is a way that I can do my practice session, I do my warm up, I do some technical studies on my B flat, then I switch over to the C trumpet, and then I take out the piccolo trumpet, do some articulation studies, do some Goldman on the piccolo trumpet. That is a blast. If you think you can play the piccolo trumpet well, pull out the Goldman book and try playing through one or two of those exercises where they're written. It will kick your butt. Take your current practice session and augment it a little bit and just swap some horns in and out. You can play Arbens on the flugelhorn. You can play Charlier on the flugelhorn, and actually that's probably a really good idea because the flugelhorn has got some tuning tendencies that are a bit different from the B flat trumpet. It's really gonna help you dial in your flugelhorn, and I bet actually the Charlier 2 would sound great on a flugelhorn. I've never played it before on flugel, but I'm going to tomorrow because actually that sounds like a lot of fun. So these are some ideas. This is my advice. Just make sure you play every single one of your horns every day. Doesn't have to be for a long time. 5 minutes, 10 minutes is plenty. If you're only doing 5 minutes on each horn extra, well, you do your regular practice session, add 15 minutes. 5 minutes on the pick, 5 minutes on the C trumpet, 5 minutes on the flugelhorn. It is gonna keep you kind of grounded. It's gonna keep you centered for all these different horns. Because I don't know about you, but my piccolo trumpet mouthpiece, well, it's a little bit different than my B flat trumpet mouthpiece. And that is different than my flugelhorn mouthpiece. So very important that we just kind of touch base with all these horns every day. If you do that for 2 weeks, I promise you, you are going to be feeling so good on all of your horns, no matter how long you've played some of these instruments. If you don't put them in your daily practice, you're going to get a little rusty on them. I love the piccolo trumpet, and I used to play it all the time. Every day I used to play the piccolo trumpet a lot, and a year or two ago, I went a very long time, nearly a whole year, without playing any piccolo trumpet. And I gotta say, when I picked it up after that, I was pretty rusty. I had the sound concept. I knew what I needed to do with my air. I knew what I needed to do for articulation and how it needed to feel, but I gotta say I was pretty rusty, and it took me a little bit of time to get back into it. And ever since then, I've made sure to leave all my horns out, and I practice all of them every single day. That way you got all the horns. If someone calls you up tomorrow and they say, I need you to sub for me and play this piece on the C trumpet, you know that it's not gonna be any trouble. You're not gonna show up with your B flat and then just transpose everything, something I've done before. It's because I hadn't played my C trumpet in so long that I wasn't that confident and that comfortable on the C trumpet. So instead, I made everything a little harder and I showed up with the B flat trumpet and I transposed everything because I knew I was gonna sound great on it. So that's my advice. I hope this helps you out. Let me know if this is something you're already doing. Do you already keep all of your horns out and play every single one of them every day? If not, is this something that you think you're gonna start doing? Thank you so much for watching. If you have not yet subscribed, please hit that button below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and leave a comment, and I will see you in the next video. So one other thing that's going to help you with playing all of your trumpets better, coffee. Coffee is always going to help. Fresh brewed coffee with a Chemex. Fresh roasted Ethiopian coffee. Yeah. Definitely will help you play better.